And earlier today, I had the opportunity to speak with New York Governor Kathy Hochul about why she says the Empire State will continue to protect the reproductive rights of women, not just in New York, but across the country. Let's listen. Now, if the draft of this Supreme Court opinion is made final, at least 26 states are expected to severely restrict or outright ban abortions. And now, at least 16 states and the District of Columbia are moving to protect abortion rights. So the first woman to serve as governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, says in a statement, quote, "For anyone who needs access to care, our state will welcome you with open arms. New York will always be a place where abortion rights are protected and where abortion is safe and accessible." New York Governor Kathy Hochul now joins me live for more. Governor, in terms of all the issues facing the state and the country, how big of a priority is this for you right now?
Well, this is seismic. I mean, we've been talking about issues related to inflation and rising costs of prices for families and crime and a lot of issues I've been focusing on. But this was a bombshell to realize that something that had been talked about and, as a hypothetical for years, but would really never happen. I mean, the reality is just like a punch in the nose. I mean, people are saying this could actually happen in a matter of weeks. So it was an extraordinary development. I think this has just turned the political world upside down, first of all, and I think that this is unfortunate, but we'll be ready to, take it to the streets and continue to remind people why elections have consequences. But we're ready here in the state of New York.
We heard in that statement of yours that New York is going to be welcoming those who need access to abortion with open arms. How are you making sure that that stays the case?
Well, first of all, we're going to be checking in our own laws. I'm very proud that the state of New York, in anticipation after Donald Trump's election, that something like this could happen. And in 2019, we passed something known as the Reproductive Health Act, which really enshrines in our state law all the protections of Roe v. Wade. But we want to go another step. I want to have this enshrined, not just in state law, but in our Constitution, just in case there ever is a situation we lose the House, we lose the Senate. Heaven forbid, and I don't believe that'll happen, but planning for the worst case scenarios, if there ever was a federal law that would supersede our state law, we want to make sure it's in our Constitution. So we're protecting New Yorkers, but also letting people in other states know that there'll be no vigilante justice when it comes to New York. We're looking at our laws right now to find out how we can protect providers and people who come to our state for this as well. So we made sure that our insurance companies are now required to cover abortions. We have Medicaid assistance, one of the 15 states that provide Medicaid coverage of abortions. So it's a whole different ballgame here in the state of New York, but that doesn't mean our hearts don't ache for our sisters in all these other states that are going to be really under the rule of tyranny now, no control over their own bodies. I mean, this is absolutely appalling.
I did want to drill down on what you bring up there, that some of these other states, they're not only banning abortion in their state, but they're trying to work to allow lawsuits against anybody who helps somebody get an abortion, even if there's a resident for another state. You say you're looking into it. Are there safeguards that actually can be put in place?
Well, we're looking at our extradition agreements. We're looking at whether or not we would comply with subpoenas. Yeah, we're taking a look at, we're leaving no stone unturned to make sure that New Yorkers and people across this country are safe to continue to receive something we consider a human right. And it's about autonomy and control over your body. And if this is going to be violated by Donald Trump's picks on the Supreme Court, then we're standing ready to take every action we possibly can to protect these fundamental rights. This has been a battle my mother's generation, my generation, my daughter's generation, and now I have a brand new granddaughter. This should not have to be the fight of her generation as well.
You talked about how this could lead to some legislation at the federal level. A lot of people now are concerned about Democrats losing the majority. You recently appointed a new lieutenant governor, Antonio Delgado, which has raised some question as to whether that could result in Democrats losing another seat in Congress. Is that a concern for you?
It's not going to happen. I'm going to be working very hard to elect a Democrat in that seat. I don't think it's going to be that difficult, especially with now the fact that there's now an issue that people realize, yes, elections have consequences. This is what happens when you elect Republicans. Therefore, in a state like New York, don't do that. We actually have a candidate running for governor on the Republican line, a current member of Congress, Lee Zeldin, who said that he would appoint a pro-life health commissioner if he was elected governor. This is the state of New York. That's not going to happen, but people need to know. That's why they need to be motivated to get out and vote. And I think this is going to result in an absolute shift in what people had predicted for the November election. We will be keeping the House, we'll be keeping the Senate, we'll be keeping the state houses that are up right now. This is a game changer for the party. I wish it wasn't so. I'd rather not have these rights stripped away, but we're going to let people know why this happened, and it's under Republican domination.
I am wondering about that because you use the term Republican domination. There's been some frustration from some Democratic voters saying there's a Democratic president, they have the majority in Congress, in the House and in the Senate, and still here we are. What is your message to those Democratic voters who are feeling a little bit frustrated and maybe a little bit lost that there's not going to be any action taken other than saying the Republicans have been doing this?
No, I'm saying Republican domination of the Supreme Court. I mean, that's the results of the nominees picked by a Republican governor or a Republican president at that time. No, we have the power in our state houses. And again, places like New York, residents should be reassured that not only do we have protections in place right now, we're finding ways to strengthen them, make sure that our providers and our facilities have more resources. We'll make sure that no one goes turned away because of not having enough accessibility and affordability. So we're going to continue protecting the residents of our state, as well as leading by example. You know, New York State allowed legal abortion 3 years before Roe v. Wade. And as a result, we saw, even in those early years, you know, thousands of people came to our state. So this is not new to us. We've always been leading on these issues, and we're going to continue to do so in the future. So Democratic voters should know that the Democratic states are the ones that are protecting their rights, the rights of women, and companies need to pay attention to this as well. Companies that are headquartered in those other states, they may want to be taking a look at what they're going to be, you know, subjecting their female employees to if they continue to remain there.
And we've seen a few companies that are already offering to pay for the travel for any of their employees who might be going out of state for an abortion. Just the last question, Governor Hochul, I think you've been quite clear on this, but just to state it in plain language, you are saying that regardless of what happens, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, if Congress passes a federal law banning abortion, any woman who decides that she wants an abortion will be welcome in New York State for that procedure. Is that what you're saying?
They may come to New York. We're going to make sure that our providers have everything they need to be able to handle the volume. Our insurance companies pay for it. We have Medicaid. We're going to make sure that these rights that we hold dear. New York State is the birthplace of the women's rights movement. We're always at the forefront, and we will protect the rights of women anywhere.
Governor Kathy Hochul, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.